Here. So this is going to be my macro video. I just actually got my Amani Battle Bear, as you guys can see. Pretty hyped about it. Got it today, so yeah. Told you guys I'd release this video, ended up passing out, and I'm doing this video now. So the first macro is pretty much just a one button buff. So when you cast it, it casts Power of Fortitude. Then it, as you see over here, it shows Shadow Protection. So then you cast it again. So and then it just resets. So it's kind of a quick thing. It's not anything too great. It's just taking off another button off of your action bar. So the next one is Cure Disease. This is pretty much like an exist macro. If I have a mouse over, it will target it. If I don't, it'll still cast it, even if I have the target targeted. So yeah, that's pretty useful when like a DK is sitting there training your target. And the next one is Desperate Prayer. This is an oh shit button. So if I'm about to die and I don't want to sit there and free cast because I'll get interrupted, I just go oh shit, spam it, and I have 152k health, and it's with my what is it, the Battle Master's trinket, or no, the Vicious Gladiator's Emblem of Tenacity. So it's something that you keybind with Desperate Prayer. It's really nice. It's a cast sequence, and it does exactly the same thing as when I use my buff. It like cycles through. So that's another useful macro for you guys. Here's a Dispel macro. So it's pretty much just exactly the same thing as my Cure Disease. It's in a mouse over. So if it's mouse over, I can use it. I can, or not. I can cure that person, and I can use it on that person. Can use it on that person. So it's just another one of those mouse overs. The next one is my dots macro. It's just another cast sequence. It's just like my buffs. It cycles through my dots, so it just makes it easier. It takes off another key binding, so it's decent when you're trying to pump in DPS. Here's another cast sequence. It's my Inner Will and Inner Fire. So I'm in Inner Will now, and I'm in Inner Fire. This actually helps me a whole lot during a lot of the arenas when I need to, say I'm casting like all of my heals and everything, and it's reducing like the mana cost of my instant cast and everything like that, and say I'm taking damage, I can just swap really quick and I'm back into spell warding, so I don't take as much spell damage, so if I'm getting focus. Here's a mana burn macro. This, if I have this person targeted and I have, here, let me drop this. If I have this person targeted and I start mana burning, obviously I don't have a target that has mana, but if I'm focusing, say where the healer is healing, I can cast mana burn on this target right here while I'm still healing other people. So like if I'm dispelling this guy, I can still cast it and it'll work. So that's another useful macro. It's helped me a lot. Here's a spammable mass dispel. It pretty much, as long as you keep on spamming the button, I'm spamming my Shift V and it's not going away. So pretty much this is actually really useful because if you're just spamming it, although I don't know why you'd really want to, but it's still really useful because I mean you still have to place it somewhere, so it's still pretty nice. This macro is actually really awesome. It's a mind control macro. I'm not going to be able to cast it on these targets, but pretty much what it is you can mind control and then cancel it. So say if you're mind controlling somebody in the Grand Arena or whatever, and you have them mind controlled, and say one of your DPS is taking a lot of damage, but you want to drop that target off the side of the edge, say you don't have enough time to actually do that, when you hit the button again, it'll cancel the aura, so you won't be mind controlling anymore, and you'll be able to go and heal your target, so it's actually really useful. Now this one, the pain suppression macro, this is actually one of my favorites. So if I'm focusing this guy, and I have it set to G, right, and it's a shift modifier macro, so if I cast it on him, it goes to him. Now if I were to hit shift G, it would go to me, so it's actually a really nice macro if you're getting trained and say you're focusing somebody else and you don't want to cast it on them and you want to cast it on yourself, you just hit your shift modifier and it works just amazingly. Now this macro, the penance macro, works exactly the same as my pain suppression, so I'll give you guys a little demonstration. So I'm casting it on this guy, right? So let's let the cooldown go up, and then when I use Shift C, it's gonna go onto myself, which is very nice. So there, it's cast on myself. This power infusion macro is the same exact thing. I don't really use it because I thought I was going to actually have to power infusion other targets, but I don't need to, so it's not really useful. So let's go to my Shadow Fiend macro. Now this is actually something that really helps me out a whole lot in arenas. So like, pretty much when I cast the pet on, it just goes straight to the target, but also if there's like a pet, it'll target the pet first, so you don't really have to focus anything as long as you just hit Q, or whatever you have as a Q binding. And also, you have the pet's dispel magic. So pretty much if you're turning a target and you sit there and you just spam it, the pet will use the dispel, which is actually really nice, and it'll also use the shadow crawl thing, so it's actually really nice. Now this thing, I know it's a really long macro and I don't really understand, but if you have a set to focus target and I say we're pumping DPS onto this guy sitting there, and say the focus target's about to go down, you just bam, Shadow Ward. Or even if it even works amazingly for polymorph, so if you're about to get polymorph, spam it and it'll hit the focus target. So if you set the focus target to the mage, it'll hit them and you will not get sheep. So it's a really useful macro. I'd suggest everybody using that. And that pretty much concludes the macros for today. If you guys want any information on the team that I've been running with, like for PMR, any like tips or anything like that, just send me a message on the channel or put a comment and video, and I hope you guys liked it.